Hello and welcome back to another 642 tiny things to draw. First up we have a spitball. Fun fact, I had to chew my own spitball and stick my tongue out with it in my mouth as a reference for this because I couldn't find a reference on Google Images. This is outlined in microns. I covered over the whole paper in graphite just to give it some tone, and then I started shading / coloring it in with pilot pens. Next up we have an atom, which is probably the smallest thing in this entire book. Honestly, I didn't have a whole lot of creative inspiration for this one, nor did I really feel like drawing today, so I kept it very simple and cartoonish. This doodle was done with pilot pens, microns, and highlighters. Getting some variety. I'm afraid to use any dense media because it'll bleed through the paper. This is very thin paper. Oh, that is horribly off-centered. I apologize. This is a water droplet. I went very graphic with it using only microns and Artist Loft colored pencils. The micron ink bled through onto the previous page, which was a frilly toothpick, so to try to cover that up, I colored in the background with orange and made it dark around the edges. Next up we have an army ant, which is one of the bigger of the ant species. Fun fact, I did this whole doodle while in Zoom class because my teacher was sick. Here we have an egg stand. I don't really know what the purpose of an egg stand is, but okay, we're gonna go with it. I started by drawing the egg, then built the stand off of the egg, and I decided to make it a chicken because I thought that would be cute and kind of funny. I skipped the outlining part because it wasn't that interesting and out of focus, but as per usual, outlined in microns, and again, as per usual, colored in with Artist Loft colored pencils. I really need to find other medias that are easily transported and will not bleed through the paper. Added in some detail marks with the micron, and we are done with the chicken stand. Here we have Pluto, the smallest planet. So we have the sketch, and then we have the outline, and then we have the coloring in, and then we have the adding the stars in the background, and then we have the outlining the stars in the background, and then we have the coloring in the background. This is toenail clippings, which is kind of gross and I didn't really want to draw, nor could I find a good reference image, so instead we have toes! And yes, I made them purple toes with pink nails because I could. The background is a much brighter yellow, but it's not really picking up on camera, but that wasn't good enough, so I added some green doodles and I kinda like it. So my dumbass accidentally drew on the wrong page. I'm drawing the prompt, a parachutist from the ground, which is on a different page, but I didn't realize I was on the page that said a photo booth photo, so whoops. It's fine, I'll fix that later. Anyway, a parachutist wasn't good enough, so then I added some trees that looked like you were standing in the center of the trees and looking up through the trees at the parachutist. An area full of trees is probably not the best spot for a parachutist to be landing, but the prompt did not specify that this person had to survive. I used the micron brush pen for the vast majority of this. I didn't want to fully color in the leaves because I thought they would just get lost in the drawing, so instead I made them all scribbly. Inaccurate texture, yeah! And lastly, I took my graphite mechanical pencil and darkened up the edges, smudging this out with my finger because that's a professional artist technique. And here's where I'm fixing the prompt. I just took a piece of scrap paper and glue sticked it over the old prompt and then wrote the new prompt on top of it. Now it says what the drawing is. And for the last doodle in this video, we have a plastic thumbtack. Look how cute this tiny pack of pencils is. I got it in a bookstore in New York and I thought it would be very fitting for the doodle book. Drawing tiny things to draw with tiny oh, I opened that upside down. Well, okay, let's try that again. Tiny things to draw, drawn with tiny colored pencils. That makes sense. This pack also comes with a tiny eraser and a tiny pencil sharpener. I've never used them before. Let's give it a whirl. They are extremely hard to hold. It took me a second to figure out how to handle it because they're so tiny I can't get a grip. It feels like when you're trying to hold a pencil that's been sharpened down to nothing. Anyway, I don't think this heat signature style of shading is very realistic, but it looks cool, so I'm going with it. And that completes this week's Tiny Drawings update. Thank you for watching. Please check the link in the description box. Bye!